Hey, it's Steve. Real quick before we begin, the single biggest thing I've learned about succeeding as an ADHD entrepreneur is that everything boils down to mastering your weeks. So if ADHD is making business harder than it needs to be, I've got something that can help. Grab my free weekly ADHD dashboard. It's a free, simple, but powerful tool to help you stay focused, organized, and in control of your week. The link is in the description below. Today's a solo episode. I just have some things on my mind I want to talk about. Well, really one specific thing in the realm of ADHD entrepreneur experience, or really general ADHD and neurodiverse experience. And this comes from a quote that I got from one of my recent members of my Focus Formula cohort. And this person said in a conversation that we were having, he said, "Being a neurodivergent individual living in a neurotypical world can be lonely." And that really hit me because the experience of being neurodivergent and navigating, and I like to say neurodiverse versus neurodivergent, you can use the word you want to use, but the navigation of the world with a brain that isn't necessarily what you might call typical can be a little bit isolating in the sense that we're always putting on the mask. We're always pretending on some level that we are doing things and thinking the way everybody else is thinking. And sometimes that's helpful. And sometimes it helps us navigate situations. And sometimes it isn't helpful. It makes us, squash or repress ourselves or not show up fully to who we are. And that often takes energy away from us. And that keeping the mask up can be very tiring and in some ways isolating, right? And especially if you're in almost the more people you're around, the more isolating and lonely it can feel. And so it was really interesting to hear him go through the Focus Formula program. And something that I've been realizing as well is that ADHD brains will often isolate it when we get into places where we're trying to navigate, we're trying to get stuff done, or we're trying to center ourselves, or we're just trying to re-regulate it because we want to essentially cut down on the input that's hitting our brain, because we know if it hits our brain, it's going to create a million ideas around it, or whether that is creative ideas, whether it's looking in the future and imagining different outcomes, a lot of times negative outcomes. And so we'll isolate in order to not have to navigate those interactions and save our mental and cognitive energy. But what happens is that becomes a little bit of a cycle where we get more and more isolated. And what was really helpful and gratifying to hear from this person who was in the course was that he said one of the biggest shifts has been when he has been in the co-working, when he was in our weekly momentum sessions. And he said, having others who are in a very similar situation helps bring a little ease, knowing that I'm not alone, that there are others going through similar feelings, and having a place to go to hold myself accountable. So on one hand, we have this weight of masking and pretending that you've got it together when, you're scrambling behind the scenes to actually have it together and meet deadlines and deliver for other people in your life. And there's that weight and that eventual exhaustion that comes. And there's also the ability to bring yourselves with other ADHD brains, other neurodivergent brains, and be able to drop the mask. And one of the things that people say, and I've experienced in my co-working sessions that I host, is that part of just being around other ADHD brains and understanding that your struggles and challenges aren't unique and that other people go through it as well, and that it's okay. And we'll use the tools and systems that we have. But that is surprisingly important, because one of the things that happens then is we start to co-regulate and we can chill out a little bit. And then we actually, not only do we get the emotional benefit of that, but we get the ability to access our executive function in a way, we get more access to it. So I just wanted to record this episode. It's going to be a super short one. It's the end of the week and I'm squeezing this in, but this conversation happened the other day and I just felt called to do this episode. And that is to just say, if you're feeling alone or you're feeling isolated as a neurodiverse brain, as an ADHD brain, then I just encourage you to find, whether it's my group in the ADHD Accelerator or the Focus Formula program, in our co-working sessions, or some other group of people to be around that share your neurodiversity. It's just, I think, so important from just an emotional and from a cognitive level to have that kind of those people and that opportunity in your life. This episode is really just an invitation to that and to reach out to somebody. And if there's something you're feeling and you're feeling a little alone or a little isolated, then, there's contact information. You can find me at my website at steveaugustcoaching.com. And really just, that's the episode. That's all it is. Just, there's no magic cure in the sense of all it takes is reaching out and being with others who get you. And it's true of any kind of tribe. And we need our tribe to do good and to do well and to be well. So that's it. That's the podcast episode today. Super short. And you feel called, give this a good review, your traditional 5-star review on your podcast episode or your podcast service of choice. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, give it a subscribe if you want more of this kind of thing. Yeah, I think sometimes we just need to hear that message is you're not alone and there are places you can go to where people get you. So that's the thought for today. I'll see you soon again on ADHD Entrepreneur Accelerator.